Well, welcome back to the Timeline Ranch. It's a beautiful morning. I'm going to be working on the building on the stairs today. I'll show you what I'm up to. Got my air compressor battery charging. That's what that noise is. So I'm going to start with this landing. I need to put the toe board here. I can go ahead and put this step here and the toe board there, and that'll allow me to get my measurement for this big piece here. Because what I want to do is set that first, and then I'll put the base pieces on top of that. Because that piece is pretty big and cumbersome. I don't want to have to try to get a perfect cut on that. I think that'd be the way to go. So I'll also be coating some more of these pieces that go up the stairs here with epoxy. This is that base piece. It's about 4 inches longer than it needs to be right now. I'm about to manhandle this thing out. Last time when I picked it up and put it in the truck by myself, it left blood lines where the edges cut into my hand. That's how heavy it was. Took everything I had to get that in the truck. I kind of cartwheeled it into the building. I've got a little fire going, not because it's terribly cold, but I need to get the building up to in between 73 and 77 degrees for that epoxy. Well, let me get started. I'm going to cut this toe board first because that's going to establish how long the landing piece needs to be. Well, it's at the house. I pre-cut 2 sides, so that save me some time out here. I just need to cut the other 2 sides. Can't mess any of these cuts up. I don't have any extra pieces. It's a lot of work to make these pieces. Not like you can go down to Home Depot and buy some more. Should be square, but double check. Square. Well, that's one piece. Got quite a few more to go. Yeah, this thing hadn't gotten any lighter, that's for sure. It's gonna look nice. That's one coat of that epoxy. Well, I'll set it in place and do the final coat on it. Well, there it is sitting in place. I'm going to have to cut it just a little bit more, but I didn't know exactly where it was going to be cut. This piece that I made here turns down, and I want it to sit up against this wood here. So I'm going to need to cut just a little notch right here. I think I could slide it out and cut it in place. I'll just turn the leaf blower on so it's blowing the dust out of the building, because I really don't feel like taking this thing back down the stairs again. I'm going to epoxy this one. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stand it upright, put the tile adhesive down, well, sponge it off, make sure it's good and clean, put the tile adhesive down, and then set it back down on there, and I'll go ahead and epoxy this one in place. And then the other ones, you know, all the other pieces, the base trim and the toe boards, the steps, I'll do them outside of where they're actually going to be, and then set them in place like a piece of tile. Same with these toe boards here. This one I'll do, you know, outside of it. I don't want to do them in place because I don't want them all to bond together, because I think over time, expansion and contraction, it may crack where the joints are. So I think it's better to just epoxy them, put them in place, and then put some caulking where it can expand and contract with it. I'm only going to put about a ½ inch overhang here on this little lip. A lot of people stick this out, up to 1.5 inches, and I think that's a trip hazard in my opinion. So about a ½ inch is all I want to give it. I think it's going to look real clean. I've been planning on doing this for about 3 years now. Beautiful sight. Well, let me get back to it. I'm going to go ahead, I've already cleaned this, sponged it down, got all the dust off of it, along with the bottom of the piece. And also it's good to have it a little bit moist before you put the tile adhesive on there. So I'm going to go ahead and set the biggest piece that I have to set on the stairs. I'll get that one set, and then I'll start figuring out the base cuts for here, and then work my way up the stairs. Alright, here goes the big set. It's going to feel like you're stepping down on concrete. I don't even know there's a wood structure under that. As solid as it is. This isn't like regular tile. It's thick enough that you could stand on it right after you set it. I'm going to put the base for the trim for the door on top of that. I had to envision it happening anyway. Once I get this trim cut out of the way, I should be able to slide this L-shaped piece in there, and that'll be it for this bottom portion. Start working the way up. Looks like I need to shave a little off the sheetrock. Either that or grind some off the stone at the bottom. It's real close to going. It's about an 1/8 inch off for being able to slide in a little pocket there. And it looks like this kicks out just a little bit at the end. I made it about an 1/8 inch bigger than it absolutely had to be. It looks like that wasn't enough. Well, it's starting to come together. Once this is all epoxied and caulked and in place, it's going to look real nice. Yeah, I just finished that one to the edge here. I'll float it all out, it'll look good. I'll just have that little base piece for the door casement trim, and then base trim on top of that. And the red oak veneer. Yeah, it's going to look real good. I'm going to keep working my way up with those pieces, and then it's just straight cuts after that. You know, I'm going to put the toe board and then the step. Toe board, step. It's like that all the way up. Sure is a beautiful day. It's a shame to spend it working in here in the building, but I need to use that epoxy up. I don't have to buy some more and just throw that in the trash. New Mexico olives coming in, starting to leaf out. I'll try to get out here a little later and get something done outside. I need to get those pieces done so I can go ahead and epoxy them though. Well, let me get back to work. Well, I think that's enough concrete cutting oddball pieces that I can't make a mistake on any single one. So I stubbed this out enough that you can have half-inch sheetrock and red oak veneer. That's what that's spaced for. Same thing on this side. Oop. Just sitting there balanced. You'll see a little bit more of a gap like down here, and once I put the tile adhesive on this piece, it's going to be higher. That's why I allowed for that. Same with here. I got all the difficult pieces up the sides. So I'm going to epoxy coat these. It'll take 2 days because you have to leave enough time for it to cure between each coat. I'll go ahead and put these on the sides, and then I can get my measurements for my toe boards and my steps. And these stairs will be done. Final product. Finally. I've been working on this many old years now. Well, let me get to epoxy coating. I have some scaled quail, or some people call them blue quail. I came out of the door and scared them a little bit. They're still right over there in that grass. They're not super afraid of me. They blend in very well with the surroundings. Well, I guess that's it for my quail visit today. There's probably about 12 or so of them. Most of them are still hiding in that brush right there. All right. Alright, it's time to epoxy coat this landing, and the other pieces are upstairs. We'll get to them here in a minute. So this is the epoxy I use, Beast Bond. It's a 1-to-1 mix ratio. I want to mix 300 milliliters, is about as much as you can mix without making a mess. And you only have a certain amount of time to work it, so you don't want to mix up too much. They give you a little kit with it, little mixer, 2 mixing cups, some gloves, I'll put 150 milliliters. And you're going to need a bunch of paper towels. I'm going to try to keep the process clean. I can't use the gloves. They make my hands sweat so bad I can't work with them. I just try to be real careful and not get it on me. So that's our hardener. And we're going to go up to 300 milliliters. The ideal working temperature is 73 to 77 degrees Fahrenheit. The one thing you really want to make sure you do is mix this stuff properly, because if you don't mix it right, you're going to have a mess to clean up. It's not going to set up right. Or if it does, it'll be patchy, and then some parts will still stay sticky. You want to mix it 3 to 5 minutes. Well, that was about 5 minutes of mixing. If you're mixing it, to pour it real thick, you don't want to mix it the way I'm doing it. But since I'm using it just as basically a clear coat, it doesn't matter how you mix it. You don't want to introduce a bunch of air bubbles to it if you're mixing it, in a thick pour. 72. Right on the money almost. 73 to 77 Fahrenheit. It's ideal. I just use a natural bristle brush. Don't go with the cheapest one though, because the bristles will keep falling out on you. I found a company that makes some decent brushes. I guess I can put a link to them as well. I'll put another Amazon link for the brushes that I use. A couple of bristles fall out, but not like some of them I've gotten before from like Harbor Freights. They were definitely poor quality. Any purchase of the brushes will help the channel financially and is appreciated as well. Well, let's get going. This is the first coat. That have to be perfect. Basically sealing it, filling in some of the voids. Second coat, it really starts to smooth out. We're out of daylight. I think I packed 13 hours in today. Just a usual day out here. Try to get as much done as I can while I'm here. Happy to see I got to use this epoxy up. I didn't want it to go to waste. You have about a month after you open it to use it all. Yeah, the stairs are going to look real nice with these on there. Well, I got a the final coat on this one. It already had that one coat on it. Yeah, it's going to look real nice when everything's together completely. Let's go look at the pieces upstairs. I'm going to grab a light. It's already pretty dark. Nice little wind. Sun already right behind the mountain. Gotta try to remember not to step on this thing. Tomorrow, right around noon or so, I can put the second coat. Yeah, it's gonna look nice. Well, I guess that's it for this one. I'll see you on the next one.